Hi guys, it's Sky, and this is What's So Funny. So today is a really, really special showing of it. It's because basically I want to share a very special topic, a very unique topic, at least from my perspective, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So over past 2 days, I went to see Jimmy Ward perform in what's called The Fight. And basically what it is it was like 5 comedians fighting for a belt of like the best comedians, and it was so cool. And he's been helping me a lot, being able to be on stage, get stage time, and it's been awesome. So being able to support him was a very cool experience. So with that being said, at the end of this fight, somebody was putting on an interview and giving feedback to these big names like Jimmy, like Rob Coleman, Rob Coleman was one of the people who was judging. So was Jerry, and so they were giving advice to Jimmy, Timbuktu, and a few other people, and Namit. And so for me, I took that as a learning experience. And the reason this is such a big topic to me is because for me growing up, I didn't always take feedback very well. And I still, to this day, my anxiety gets really put up high when I get feedback, because in my mind, I'm like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, nobody likes me. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, I did horrible. But when I saw it in the perspective of other comics are getting feedback on how they could better themselves, it kind of put me aside and like, you know what, if they can handle it better, I can learn in a healthier way how to better myself. And so I watched 3 of the interviews being done, and I stepped back and then I said to them, being able to watch your interviews really showed me how I can be a better comic going forward. And they took that as like the highest compliment. And I said, I'm serious though. It was such a big deal to me because I want to learn how to be a better comic. And one of the things I think is maybe not appreciated as much or overlooked is the fact that comics themselves have to take feedback and what to do with it and how to better themselves. And for me, that was definitely a learning experience to see other comics getting feedback about them. And for me, that was huge. So I don't normally do this during my shows, but we have Hato here. But I just didn't want to look like I was like, playing with myself down here, but no, it's a cat. But no, so for me, it was a very, very big deal to tell the comics that, like, Namit, Timbuktu, and Jimmy. I don't know if I said it to Jimmy. I thought I did, though. But it definitely, the 3 points I wanted to make for this video were basically, 1, I feel like in the future I'm going to be able to hopefully take feedback better than I did in the past. 2, I want to keep absorbing everything like a sponge, whether it's good or bad, in the sense of like, if you get heckled, if you get no claps, how do you take that? And 3, the advice other comics get, if it applies to me, I want to take that and run with it. So one of the examples is what I just said, which is, if you don't get claps, it doesn't mean you're not good. Which I actually thought was very interesting. Because it doesn't mean you're not good. It means you're missing, how do you put it? You're missing something for the audience, I think, and you gotta get their attention. And then number 2 was, for Timbuktu, he always takes his shirt off, and how, he could, essentially how he could, retire that and basically, find a way to take his other style of comedy and make that a better way of doing it rather than just taking his shirt off. He has higher skills. He has better skills. He has other ways to make people laugh than just taking his shirt off because he's a heavier guy. So other heavier guys do that bit. And he has other ways to make people laugh besides just taking his shirt off. And so I look up to guys like Timbuktu and Namit and Jimmy and all that. So this feedback is so important to me. So to me, even hearing advice from other people about their comedy styles kind of applies to me. And then I can take them and be like, oh, so let's think about some of the things I do and ways I can fix my stuff, because I'm always trying to find ways to make my comedy better, or even just where I can do better. And I want to learn, which is huge, you know. I want to learn. And, you know, I feel like for a lot of comics, that's something that a lot of them don't want to do. I've heard stories about it where it's like the comics don't want to put the time and effort in, and that's all I've been doing is, you know, putting the time and effort into it, going to shows, whether I'm in them or not, showing support. And it's what I've been doing, like, especially this weekend. This is probably going to be the biggest commitment, is going out to PA. This is probably probably my biggest show now. Originally it was the Thrive Together Festival, and now this one, which is me going out to PA. You know, it's just one of those things where one becomes bigger than the other and blah, 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 blah. You know, it's just, they're both big shows. Because for me, it's all about just getting that stage time. And one's not more important than the other. To me, it's all about stage time. I'm excited because it's going to be my first 10-minute set. And that's what I'm very, very excited about. And that's what I can be more thrilled about, is the fact that it's going to be a 10-minute set. I have it all written down. Actually, I think that's what I'm more excited about, is the fact that, you know, I have my little notebook here, and, you know, I have like 2 10-minute sets already written down. I don't even know if my second 10-minute set is completely written down. Yeah. The ending of my second 10-minute set isn't finished, but the first one that I had come up with was. I mean, so I'll give you a little sneak peek of it. So you know how when you're young and you get presents from like your grandparents and shit, and you get a present from your grandma and you get a cash bond, but you know what? You have to wait till you're 18 to fucking use it. Oh, I set that up totally wrong. See, I'm trying not to give away because it's a setup where, see, it's weird. It's one of those things where I can't really give it away because there's a whole thing that goes into it where you start here, da-da-da-da-da, and then you're there. It doesn't make any sense unless you know the beginning of the setup. But, that was a crash and burn joke. But, no, it makes sense if you heard the whole set. But I'm really excited, though, because I wrote all these jokes of my own. Now, it's so funny because I have a 5-minute set, but it's a kid-friendly set that I did because eventually I want to go to my friend's work, which is disabled adults. But, you know, I had to find very kid-friendly jokes. And when I mean kid-friendly, like, I looked up the old popsicle jokes, you know, like, what's a knight's favorite fish? A swordfish. And I'm like, they're so bad, they're goofy. And I'm like, these are perfect. I didn't write them. There's some just ones that, you know, but I'll even say I didn't write them. But, like, the ones that I wrote, you know, are here. And the setups are set up the way they are. And I'm really excited. Like, I have a pot smoking set. It's really short. It's a 5-minute one. I could probably make it longer. So I'm very excited. And then the most important thing that I realized coming out of watching these interviews, especially, we're going to go back on that because I realized that I derailed from the original thought. The one thing that I realized, though, is the fact that you can learn a lot by watching other comedians. And I learned that before I was even on stage, is watching other comedians teaches you a lot. It teaches you about how they move on stage, how they have their timing and everything. And I'm a very visual learner. And that's how I feel like I'm going to get better, is just watching other comedians. And that's what I want to do to get better. If it's like a classroom setting, I do very piss poor. So if I find a way to learn on my own how to be a better comedian, it would be way more perfect than trying to set up as a classroom. Because if we set this up like a classroom, I can almost guarantee you a crash and burn fail. Oi. But if we do this in a way where it's going to be fun, then I feel like the succession is already going to happen. And it's already happening slowly, but it's going to happen. So, but I just wanted to share that food for thought, everybody. I was very proud of this video coming out because I took a picture of the interviews happening, and it made me think of a very special What's So Funny podcast. It obviously isn't a full 20 minutes. It's more of just a food for thought. I might do that as like a mini segment, food for thought type of thing. And this might be for the first installation of that. So I'll talk to you guys all later. Bye.